Hello, hello, hello. We should be getting some. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
I was like, oh, is anyone going to be here? Whoa.
Yeah.
Already at 130? Crazy. Welcome, everybody, to the webinar.
Hi.
While we just wait for everybody to filter in, we have a chat function and we have a Q&A function. So in the chat function, let us know who you are, where you're from. Wow, 300 people, crazy. And then also we've got a Q&A box. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, pop them in there and we'll have a look at them at the end. Don't put any questions in the chat because we might lose it, because goodness knows how many people are going to be using it. Yeah, cool. How exciting. I can't believe there's so many people here. That's crazy.
So many people.
Where's everybody from?
Let's see the chat. No.
Oh, the chat's disabled. Grace, is that something we can fix?
Oh dear. Yes, let me try and fix that.
Sorry, everybody. We'll fix that.
Lauren's asking questions and no one can answer.
I'm like, use the chat and no one can use it. That's so terrible.
Oh dear. Oh, I'm not sure. Everyone. Okay, try now.
Okay.
Yes, it works.
Apologies for that, everybody.
We've also got somebody asking if live captioning is available. Don't know if that's...
We can't have live captioning, sorry, but we are going to upload this to, you'll notice it's recording now, and we're going to upload it to the Blue Zoo YouTube channel afterwards, and I'll make sure there are captions.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Grace. There we go. Oh, wow. Oh, lots of people in the chat now. Hello, hello.
Lots of chat.
Now the chat is working. Do say hi in the chat, not in the Q&A. But if you've got questions, use the Q&A. There we go. There's some.
I'm just looking at where everyone's from.
It's crazy. Wow. Middlesbrough. Nice. Sheffield.
Oh, there's a Reading, Lauren.
Oh, fantastic. I'm near Reading at the moment. Bournemouth, Northumberland, London. Nepal? Wow. Crazy. I'm very curious. Anyone from Derbyshire? Because that's where I'm from. Nottingham, close.
That's cute. Close.
Hello from the moon. Wow, that's very far to be. Derbyshire. Thank you, Liam. We've got a Derbyshire. We've got some people from India. Amazing.
Nottingham. There's a lot of Nottingham.
Lots of Nottingham. That's where Katie's from. So
yeah.
we've got some Midlanders chat today. Lovely, lovely. Hi from In Your Walls. That's a bit... Anyway, with that, let's jump in to...
Let's get started.
Let's get started with the Summer Internships webinar 2023. How exciting.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm sure you know that we're here to talk about this year's summer internships. This is a really exciting year for us, so we're just here to give you some of the details that you need and to know how to successfully apply, and then hopefully join us come July. So today we'll be talking about the following. We'll introduce ourselves and talk about who we are as a talent team and who to go for if you've got any questions. And then we'll talk about last year's internship, who those interns were, why they'd recommend the internships, and what happens post-internship. And then we'll talk about what's happening next. We'll talk about what's happening this year, so what roles there are, what to expect, and what you might be working on. And then we'll go into how to apply. So we'll give you our top tips on how to apply and how to make your application as strong as it can possibly be, our entry requirements. And then as well as running through all of the key details, so like when applications close and when you can expect to hear from us. And then at the end, we'll do a little Q&A. We'll answer any questions that you might have that we haven't covered already. So keep sending in all your questions and then we'll get to them at the end. Cool. So this is the wonderful talent team. First, we've got Sarah Lila, who's our talent team lead. Then we've got Lauren, Would you like to introduce yourself, Lauren?
Hello, I'm Lauren. I'm a talent acquisition manager here at Blue Zoo. I've been here for 3 years now, and this is the fifth internship webinar I've done. I don't know, so many. It's crazy. But yeah, really excited to be talking about this with you guys today.
Lovely. And then we've got Carly there in the middle, who did our internships last. And then we've got myself, Katie. I've been at the studio now for nearly a year, and I'm running the internships this year. So at any point out of the process, if you've got any questions, do feel free to reach out to both Lauren or to myself. But I am your main point of contact, so you'll probably hear from me most of the time. But if you've got any questions at any point post this webinar, you can just email us at that email address at the bottom there at recruitment@bluezoo.co.uk, and we can help you with any questions or any issues that you might have whilst applying.
Amazing. So this is last year's lovely bunch of interns that we've got. So these are our interns and their mentors, so Lisa May, Jack and Sophie. And it was just so wonderful to have them with us. Last year we had our first in-person summer social, so it was really nice to actually see everybody in person and just hang out with them. It was really lovely to make that connection. So one of the interns from last year, Bhavesh, everybody loves Bhavesh. He was our lighting and compositing intern, and he said, my favorite, my favorite part of the internship was by far coming into the studio and working and chilling with the other interns and artists. Learned a lot from them and made some amazing friends in the process. Also, seeing people bring their dogs into the office is a highlight, which I don't think gets talked about enough. The last time we were in the office, which was last Friday, we did a tour with Hertfordshire students. If there's any Hertfordshire students, say hi. And there were 3 dogs in. It's quite crazy, but really lovely to see everybody. Yeah, so Bhavesh has been so amazing that we've been able to welcome him back. So we do our absolute best to try and develop the interns that we've had in the studio and keep them with us whenever there is an opportunity to do so. Some of our directors, in fact, we found out, started off as interns. So it was Sam, wasn't it? Sam Potter.
Yeah, Sam.
A animation supervisor on one of our top secret shows. He started off as an intern 10 years ago.
10, 15 years ago, ages ago.
And we never let him go. So yeah, we do our absolute best to keep people within the studio wherever we can. But here's a small snapshot of the people that we've hired. So Guya, special place in my heart because she was my first ever intern that I hired when I joined the studio. She was our visual development intern back in 2020. She worked on InShapes, and since we have kept her, and she's worked on It's Pony, which you can see on the lovely slide, Adventures of Paddington, Color Blocks, and now she's working on a few top secret stuff at the moment. But she's a really great example of didn't need to go to university to take part in the internship and also work in the industry. She only did online courses, I think. She didn't study, she'd say professionally, but she did obviously study. But yeah, it was a great example of how there's so many different routes into the industry. Then we've got Natalie, who's our lighting and compositing intern back in 2021. We actually had a gap between her leaving the internship and coming back to us, but as soon as we saw her name again, we were like, Natalie, and we brought her back. And then we've got Bhavesh, so he was our intern last year, and luckily we had something available that he'd be perfect for when he finished up. So we kept him, and we hope that we can keep all 3 of them and more for much longer, because it's great that we're able to mold talent into the perfect Blue Zooers.
Cool. So this year, we're doing things a little bit differently to maybe how we've done them in the past, if you've heard about them in the past or spoken to anybody that's done them. So this year we have opportunities spanning the entire studio, and you'll be working on real life projects and shows, both within short form and long form, as well as having some learning dedicated directly to you. For the past couple of years, we've focused on the shorts that we've made, but this year we kind of want to spice it up a little bit and do something a bit different. So you'll be working with a team of mentors who have a range of experience within the industry. So you'll get a full look at what it's like to work in the studio at all kinds of different levels, as well as having a dedicated mentor who'll be your point of contact who you can ask for help with anything during the 6 weeks of the internship. So on screen, you can see some examples of the past shows and projects that we've had, and you'll be working across some of these, as well as some brand new ones, depending on the role. As you can probably tell as well, unfortunately, this year's internships will only be involved in the 3D pipeline, but we do hope to have more 2D opportunities available in the future. So this year it's just 3D. We have some really exciting projects on the horizon, and whilst we can't name them right now, trust us when we say that these are some of the best shows that we've had so far. You'll be a real part of the team and treated as such. So this can be like your real first step in your career, and you can treat it as such. We also want to make sure you have a great relationship with your fellow interns, so we'll take the time to introduce you and allow you to work together, meaning that you'll also be part of your own little team, which I think Bhavesh mentioned was a real great part of it. As we found this really beneficial in the past, and it allows you to be part of a community of really like-minded people, so you don't feel alone or scared about anything. You've got each other to support you. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this year, our summer internships are on screen. We have 5 intern opportunities. So we've got 1 in animation, 2 in rigging, 1 for a 3D generalist, which will cover modelling, surfacing and texturing, and lighting and comp. And then for the first time ever, we have 1 in production. So like I mentioned before, each intern will have a dedicated mentor, as well as being part of a larger team of mentors across the studio who will contribute to your learning and your development. Each internship will be run slightly differently. So as an example, for our animation and production interns, you'll be working across long form on multiple shows. For the generalist, you'll be working mainly in our short form department on some really exciting projects for some amazing clients. For rigging, you'll be working with the rigging team who work on anything and everything we could possibly need them for in the studio. So this could be in long form, short form, or across our developments team if it's needed at the time. So that's all we can really say about the internships at the moment. But as we move through the process and we start interviewing more, we can tell you more and more about what's to come. And it's a really exciting time for us. So
yeah. Super exciting, especially I can see in the chat, everybody's so excited that we've got production finally.
Yeah, we're really excited about that one. And then we're in a really good place for production, because again, like, this is the first time that we've ever done it. We can really tailor it to the person that's going to be joining us, which is really exciting for us and for you guys too.
Yeah, and I can't express how phenomenal our production team are. Like, no matter who you're going to be sat with, they are top tier level. They're brilliant. Anyway, I could talk about them all day. all day. I'm a bit of a fangirl. So here are some of the key details that you need to know before you start applying. So applications will open straight after this webinar. Very quickly, don't feel like you have to put your application in straight away. You do have time to work on it because they will close at the end of April. So you'll have a whole month to create your application. If you want to update your portfolio or your show reel or make it more tailored towards the internship, you've got time. We will only start looking at applications once the deadline's been hit. So once they're all in, then we'll look through them, because then we can give everybody the right amount of time.
Yeah, and it's definitely not first come, first served. It's everybody will get the same consideration. Yeah.
So when we say that they're open at the end, don't feel like I need to get it in now. You've got time. So the internships are aimed at talent that have never worked in the animation industry before. This is incredibly important for us because we believe that there should be more feet into the feet in the door to the industry. Wow, there goes my dyslexia. So a foot in the door into the industry.
Foot in the door.
There we go. I made it.
There you go. Got there.
I got there. Yeah, so if you have had experience in the industry, so professional experience, unfortunately, this opportunity isn't for you, but you are suitable for any of the entry-level roles that we do have on our careers website. So when we say entry level on our careers website, we mean entry level. So don't despair. As I said, the applications close on the 28th of April, 2023 at midnight UK time. We won't be able to accept any applications after this. So this is a very hard deadline. And then also we'll be in touch with everybody, no matter what you've applied for, what happened to your application, if you've been successful or not, because we know how discouraging it can be to throw your application into the ring and then never hear anything. So you will hear what's happened to your application. Very key details. The internship will run from the 10th of July to the 18th of August. So please only apply if you know you're going to be available during those dates, because this would be a full-time opportunity. So our working hours are 10 till 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. If you're not available during that time, unfortunately, we can't consider you for this. So please make sure that you're available and you're not on holiday or any other things that could interfere with that. So this will be a paid opportunity as well. We don't believe in unpaid internships here at Blue Zoo. So you would be paid a London living wage, which is £450 a week. Because of our hybrid way of working, this opportunity is for UK-based applicants only, because we really want to be able to welcome you into the studio at least once a week. So then you can learn through osmosis, as the artists say, and it will really show you what it's like to work in a studio, so you get the whole experience. If you want to work 5 days in the week, a week in the studio, you're very welcome to, but our only criteria is that it's at least once you come.
Yeah, and I think it's probably just important to mention here as well that you will need the UK right to work. So even if you are in Europe and you can come over for that 6 weeks, you still need the right to work in the UK, and we aren't in a position to do visas or anything like that for this opportunity.
Yes, exactly. Very good point. Thank you, Katie. And as I said before, working hours would be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. So they're the key details. If you didn't get a chance to write down all of this, we are recording this webinar, so it'll be posted on YouTube later, and you can go back through it and write down any key details that you might want. But also all the details should be on the job applications as well. Cool. So now you're like, oh my gosh, I want to apply because this sounds amazing, and I don't blame you. Once you're ready with your application, please check out our careers website, which is careers.blue-zoo.co.uk, and submit your application. As I said before, applications close Friday, the 28th of April, and it is a hard deadline. Any interviews will take place between the 1st of May and 19th of May. These will be held remotely over Zoom, so you won't have to come into the studio for that. There should be 2 people on the panel, so it'll be most likely your mentor, possible mentor, and Katie. So you'll see her face again, and it will last about 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll ask you to sign an NDA beforehand as well, so then we can talk about any secret things and we're fine. If you are successful, you'll be offered the internship by the 19th of May, and then once that's all confirmed and you've signed your contract, we'll work with you to get you set up remotely, because as we said before, we are hybrid, so there might be times when you are working from home, so we'll set all of that up so you've got the software and the equipment that you need to work to the best of your ability. Cool. And then our top tips. Now, if you've come to our talent team presentations before, you probably know these off by heart, which is great because you should know these off by heart. But we're just going to go through them again because they are so important. So we're all about less is more, putting your best foot forward, honesty is the best policy, and the finer details. So less is more towards your portfolio and show reel, and also your CV. So if you're submitting a show reel, we're looking about 30 seconds to a minute max. We really believe that having this time constraint makes you think, I shouldn't put every single piece of work that I've ever done in this because I've only got 30 seconds. So let's pick the best stuff I have. So automatically you're just condensing down all of your work because we're after quality, not quantity. If you want some extra tips on an animation showreel, we've got the Blue Zoo Instagram and TikTok, I believe. There is some tips from Will Lloyd Cook, who's one of our animation directors. Well, he's a director now, but previously an animation director, and we'll submit some tips and stuff on LinkedIn throughout the month. So you can have a look at more specific tips for your roles. And then when it comes to your CV, here in the talent team, we're very simple creatures. We're very happy with a nice, simple, clearly laid out CV. It doesn't have to be flashy and stuff because all of your creativeness will go into your portfolio and showreel. So just clearly state if you've done any online courses in the past, where you're studying, if you're studying. Some people who apply for the internships might be doing a career change. So if you have worked in a completely different industry before, please do still put your experience on there because so many of those skills are transferable.
Yeah, particularly for things, sorry, Lauren, I'm just particularly for things like production, where you won't have a showreel or a portfolio or anything like that. If you are having a career change, that's so helpful to put on your application for something like this. So definitely don't dismiss it. It's all useful.
It's all valid. We love looking through. And then also any softwares that you guys are skilled in. So that's both for artists and for production. So for production, we're looking at, your Excels and your management softwares and budgeting and spreadsheets. And then with artists, if you know Maya, Blender, anything really, let us know because that'll be really helpful for us to see as well. So putting your best foot forward, that's basically put your best piece of work right at the beginning of your showreel or portfolio. It really grabs our attention. Last year, we received 900 applications for the internships in total. So poor Katie is going to be going through a lot of applications in the next couple of months. So to put your best work right at the beginning, really it's Katie you've got to impress, really grabs Katie's attention so she can be like, fantastic, let's go. Let's go to shortlist or let's go to interview, etc. So yeah, it just grabs our attention and puts your application straight to the top of the pile. Honesty is the best policy. This is probably, sorry, I just saw in the chat, poor Katie.
It's fine. I love it. Favorite part of the job, reviewing.
Yeah, it's honestly really amazing seeing everybody's work. I did it when I first joined Blue Zoo, and going through everybody's internships applicant, I was baffled by how amazing everybody's work was. And I'm like, this is just for internships. This is phenomenal stuff. So we're pleasured to look through your stuff.
Yes.
Wonderful. Where was I? Honesty is the best policy. This is the most important one, especially for the internships. So when we go through, as I said before, we want this opportunity to be for people who haven't worked in the industry professionally before. And unfortunately, some people, when they create their CVs, they say they were a lead animator on their graduation project, but they don't say it was for a graduation project. So just to us, it looks like you've had professional experience, and then we weren't able to put you forward for the internship because we thought that you weren't suitable for it, when actually you could have been perfect for it. And to be honest, everybody's graduation work looks professional. So it's not even like we can go, oh yeah, that looks like student work. I can't tell. So please specify if it was done for, I know there's Animation Mentor, if it was done for a graduation piece at school in your own time, please let us know when you write that stuff down on your CV, because it just really helps us out and make sure that you are put forward for the best opportunity. And then the finer details. So just making sure that your name, your address, every single bit of info you put on your CV is correct. If you have a link to Vimeo or another page, please make sure that the link works. And if you have a password, it's spelt correctly, and that also works. It just makes it so much smoother for not only us, but you guys as well. So we're not constantly pestering you on LinkedIn, be like, give me your password. You don't want that. So just make sure everything's correct before you submit. So I know I just threw a lot of information at you guys now. So we have over 100 questions in the Q&A. So we're going to be going through those now. But Katie's just making the internships live now, which is amazing. So when you guys are ready, please do apply. But as I said before, no rush at all. Take your time to build your applications, and we'll review them all once the deadline's been hit. So I'll stop sharing so you can just see our lovely faces. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of questions going on here. Let me just have a little sift through. Okay, so if you are putting questions in the chat, please do remember to put it in the Q&A so I don't miss it. So let's just start from the top. I'm not a college student. Can I still apply for the application? Yes. So the only criteria we have is that you're over 18 and you haven't had any professional experience in the industry before. So you can be any age, you can be any part of your, if you're changing careers, as we said before, if you are just starting out, as long as you're over 18 and haven't had any professional experience, please do apply.
Oh, good. They should all be live now.
Oh, okay.
To go and apply.
Exciting. Oh, so exciting. Lovely. We're probably going to have a lot of questions about visas, so I'll answer this one. It might answer other questions. So someone said, are you able to provide sponsorship for folks under a graduate visa in that case? In the case that you end up hired under Bluezoo. So there's two things in there. As Katie said before, we aren't able to sponsor any visas for people to come over and do the internships. It's very lengthy, costly, and I believe that you need to be working for a year to be sponsored visa here as well, and that doesn't fit under the internship. So we're so sorry that we're not able to do that. But when you do see any roles on our website and you're interested in applying, we do have remote roles, not the internships, but other roles where you could possibly work from where you are currently. So that might.
Yeah.
They did say graduate visa. So if you are currently on a student visa or you're on a graduate visa in the UK, you already have the right to work in the UK and we don't need to sponsor that. Just please specify if you are under a visa when you apply. And if we need any more info, like when the expiry date is on your visa, we'll be in touch. But I hope that encompasses a lot of it.
The visa questions.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to pick one next, Katie?
Let me have a look. So,
oh, I've just spotted another question.
Go on.
I know I'm breaking my rule by saying only put it in the Q&A, but I just spotted this in the chat. It says, I'm Spanish and I speak English, but I want to ask if I need very advanced English for this internship. So if you are studying in the UK or have graduate visa or the right to work in the UK, but English isn't your first language, we do expect you to be able to communicate clearly with the team. We are fortunate that we do have quite an international base here at the UK, at Bluezoo. We've got loads of international artists with us, but English is the main language that we use. So we would expect that you'd be able to communicate stuff around your role, obviously. But we can discuss that more in the interview as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. I've got one here.
Go on.
Can 2D students still apply if their main interest of the student is actually production rather than animating? Yes, of course. If you want to work in production, you are welcome to apply no matter what background you come from. You don't have to have studied animation at uni. It can be 2D, it can be 3D if you have done so. But any kind of just interest or experience that you can show us in working in a creative field is fantastic. So yes, that is not a problem at all.
Mhm. I'm trying to find a question we haven't already answered. I did see, again, I'm going to the chat and I'm like, I saw somebody ask, what is production?
What is production? So this is quite an interesting one, actually. So for anybody that maybe has followed us and kind of has an idea of what we do or what roles that we have, if you've looked on our careers site before or anything like that, our kind of most entry-level role in production is a production assistant. And that is often entry level, that is fair to say, but we don't often have a lot of production assistant roles become available. And we don't offer anything in the studio like a runner, for example, that other studios may well do so. So we don't really have anything at the studio at the moment that would provide you that, both that entry level first step into the industry if you've never done anything like it before, as well as giving you the opportunity to experience production and see if you like it. Because that's what a lot of being a runner is often about, is experiencing the industry or the studio or whatever, wherever you may be based, and saying, do I like this? Could I see myself doing this? So that's kind of what this internship is really for, is to give you guys an insight into what working in production is like, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So on that, you'll be doing, because there's a similar question here, you'll be working mainly with our production coordinators, but also with our production managers and some of our line producers. So you'll get to kind of see the array and the seniority of different levels and what they do when managing a production. So you'll be working on a production at that time. So it's, you know, it's what's happened in real life. So you'll be working across all those different roles and learning kind of like how they manage production, how we look at budgets, how we look at schedules, how we manage people, how we manage assets, all that sort of stuff. So it'll be quite varied and quite broad. So it's just really an introduction into what you'll be doing, but most of your time will be spent with the production coordinators.
Yeah. And then straight after that, I've spotted a question that says, for the production internship, would it be useful, to have administrative experience?
Yes, definitely. So as I'm sure you guys are probably aware, that with all of our roles, there is some kind of requirement. So, and this will actually answer another question at the same time. So like if you wanted to come and do our animation internship, we'd kind of expect you to have an understanding of Maya. You don't have to be experienced at all, but just a basic understanding of Maya is brilliant. So in a similar vein for production, we want to be able to see that you have some kind of administrative skills. So be that in Microsoft, for example, or be that in the Google suite. That's kind of our one requirement for production, is that you can show us some kind of evidence that you have managed anything in that kind of way. So administrative skills are really great for that. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've got a lot of questions about, I'm just glancing through, and there's quite a few that's very similar, about I'm just starting off at university, I'm only just starting to learn about these things. Will I not be considered because I haven't got all the skills yet? Feel free to butt in, Katie. But
sure.
In my opinion, the internship is another way for you to learn more about these softwares and to develop your skills. So as I said before, it's quality over quantity. So if for example, you're applying for the generalist role and you've got like 3 sculpts that you're really proud of, oh, I should have more, 3 is absolutely fine. If they're your best work and you're absolutely proud of them, please do apply. We're not expecting lead level artists applying. We know that you guys are going to need some nurturing, and you're going to need to learn more. That's exactly why we've done this, because we want to be able to provide that space for you guys to learn more.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I think the generalist one is a really good example of that as well, Lauren, because we're obviously asking you for a generalist to have all these different skills, because you'll be covering quite a lot of different things as a generalist would do. So within that, we completely understand that you won't have all those skills. If you come in, say, and you are a strong modeler, or that's where your experience lies at university, but you've not yet done any surfacing and texturing, or you've not yet done any lighting and comp, absolutely fine. We're here to teach you that. And we've got the people there that have worked in the industry for a while now that can show you the best way to go about it, how to use it in the pipeline, and really begin to introduce you to all those skills. So yeah, we don't expect you to know everything at all.
And it's like the perfect opportunity to ask questions. I think every single one of our interns have all said whenever they've passed on top tips to the next interns is ask questions, because you're never going to get another opportunity where you have basically a buddy in the industry so knowledgeable and knows so much about the pipelines and the industry and the studio, who can dedicate pretty much all of their time to you, because, you know, that's why it takes us a while to confirm what roles that we're doing for the internships, because we want to make sure the mentors are there first, because that's the backbone of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So these people know for the 6 weeks, it is 6 weeks, isn't it, that we've got for the internships, that it is you and them. And they are there for your every beck and call. And you're there to learn. So
yeah, definitely.
Opportunity.
Another one here. Is there an age limit, or do you prefer someone younger straight after graduation? No, there is no age limit. All that we ask is you are 18 and over, just because of right to work and things like that. But you could, it doesn't matter how old you are without sounding. No age limit at all.
Yes. So perfect if you're looking for a career change.
Yes.
A wonderful step in the door for that. I've got another question. Could you apply for more than one role? Yes, you can apply for all of them if you want, but do tailor your application to each one. So if we open up the your animation application, and we see just assets and models, we're not going to consider you for the animation internship. So if you have a website and you've got different tabs for each of your like specialisms, because I know when you are first learning animation, you're like, but I like all of it, I don't know what I want to do. That's fair. Just make sure that your application is tailored to what you're applying for, so we know that you want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Just another one. What exactly do you mean by haven't worked in the industry before? Do other internships count as well as work experience? We would say yes, other internships do count as having worked in the industry before. We want this to be an opportunity for somebody that's not yet had that opportunity. So again, you'd be eligible for any of our entry-level roles if you wanted to come and work at the studio. But yeah, the internships will just be for people that have worked professionally in the industry, and not worked professionally in the industry.
Yeah, and that would count if you're a runner before as well, because I saw a few questions saying, oh, I was a runner somewhere, does that count? Another question on very similar vein is, I worked in VFX, but I want to get into animation. I would still count that as professional experience, because I know it does feel like they're completely different worlds, but we do hire from a lot of VFX houses, and they hire a lot from the animation industry as well. So they are very much connected. We're just all under the same umbrella. So
we share a talent pool, so
we do. Okie dokie. Let's find another good question. I'm just trying to find one that we haven't answered yet.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, what are some of the common challenges that entry-level people face within the first few weeks of the internship? Do you have any advice to prepare for some challenges starting in the industry? I think this goes into any job that you first apply for, any first role that you have in any industry, really. It can be really intimidating because it's your first kind of professional job, and you're the new thing in the office. I think the biggest mistake people face, not asking questions, is not putting themselves out there. I know that can be really hard for some people. I'm neurodivergent, so I do struggle kind of going into a new room and saying, hi, I'm this person. But do make connections if you can, do ask questions, because they want to help you as much as you want them to help you. So I think that's the biggest thing for any industry, really, is to make sure that you know where everything is and what needs doing.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody in the studio is so lovely.
Yeah, so wonderful. That's so sweet.
And then again, it's why we ask you to come into the studio sometimes, because, you know, you'll be able to meet everybody and ask any questions. If you're worried about anything, or if there's something that you don't know, even if you don't know where to find something, they're all there for you. So it's really beneficial. On that, someone's just asked, would Northern Ireland be included in the UK? Yes, but with a caveat that we would expect you to come into the studio once a week. So if you have the option of doing that, of coming over to London for the 6 weeks, then yes. If you're from Northern Ireland, that is absolutely fine, but we can't do fully remote. So
yeah, and I've seen loads of questions on a very similar vein of, would we be covering finances for people coming in? We won't be able to add any other extra finances onto you coming into the studio once a week, because it is a paid opportunity. That's probably what it would go towards. But yes, we can't do that, I'm afraid. But if you are able to come in and you think, I think this is manageable for me, please do apply. I've got a question here. Does taking part in an internship usually guarantee a job at Blue Zoo? I'm a BA animation graduate looking for a first role. I'll answer this first, and then Luke's got a second question. So it wouldn't guarantee a job, because obviously it depends on how you did. It depends on where you are. So some people, they joined us for internships before where they were still studying. So if we did have an opportunity for them straight after, they couldn't join us because they were still studying. And we did have that with one intern. We were like, please work with us. And she said, I've got 2 years left on my degree. So we were waiting until they're available again. But it also does depend on what opportunities we do have. If shows have landed in the right time, if anything is suitable. But we do rehire a lot of our talents. So what that means is, if they worked for us before, we keep in touch. So if there is something, we can be like, you free? Do you want to come back? And a lot of people do. Last year, I think over half of our external hires were rehires, I believe. I'm saying that. Question. I did the stats. I should know. So there might not be something straight after, but we do keep in touch, and we do try to bring back people as much as we possibly can when there is an opportunity. And then the second question, out of the 900 that applied last year, how many were successful? 3. There were only 3 places last year. So there were 900 applications and only 3 people who got the job in the end. So it is tight. But
we do have more opportunities this year. We have 5.
We've got 5 this year, guys. But also, I think, never feel like, oh, I shouldn't apply because it's going to be so hard. Always apply. I say this to everybody, no matter what. There's no harm in sending an application in, because all you're doing is putting yourself on our radar, and that's probably the best thing you can do when you're looking for a job. So apply.
Definitely.
Obviously, if you can. Does the advice for applying for the internships also apply for applying for jobs at Blue Zoo? Yes. We give that advice to everybody. We do stress more the honesty is the best policy for the internships, because it is so relevant to that. But all of the top tips that we gave you are stuff that we tell everybody, because they're so integral to making sure that your application is the best. And as I said before in the presentation part of the webinar, we've got so much tips on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram and TikTok. So if you want to check out more of that, please do, because it's just fantastic advice from the horse's mouth of industry professionals.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a few questions about Blender. which is fair enough. So for the animation internship, that will be done solely in Maya. Knowing Blender is great, but you won't be using it in the studio, so we would ask that you have a basic understanding of Maya. For the generalist, however, if you have Blender, fantastic. We can use that to our advantage, and we can definitely incorporate in that to your learning. It's not a requirement by any means, but if you do have Blender and Maya, that's really great. So do let us know if you do.
Oh, nice basic one. Who should we address the cover letter to? You can address it to Katie.
To me. There's a lot of hiring managers just to me.
Just to Katie. She's the only one you need to impress with. No, I just on our application, there is a section at the end that says, tell us more about yourself. This is optional. You don't have to submit a cover letter if you don't want to, but it is a great opportunity for us to learn more about you, why you want the opportunity. I know that it can be really stressful because there's so many guidelines out there of like, this is how you make a cover letter, and you need to have, this is a opening, and this is the main thing, and like an essay. We're very chill here. We just want to learn a bit more about you. The cover letter section will be really important for those applying for the production internships, because you won't have like a show reel or a portfolio. It will be your CV letter. So just expand a bit more on why you want to work in production. If you've managed people in the past, and maybe it's in a university group, you've organized them and made sure that they turned up on time or things were delivered on time, stuff like that. It might not seem big to you, but it really highlights to us that it's production that you're interested in. Anything to add, Katie? Because I know you're...
No, I think you covered it all, Lauren. That was great.
Oh, this one's just it's not to do with the internships, but I have to ask you because I'm curious, and Grace, you might want your answer as well. What's your favorite project you've all worked on and why? So as we're recruiters, we've recruited for all of the projects. But I think my favorite is probably Super Potato. Because
Super Potato,
the team on Super Potato were phenomenal. They were wonderful. That was our 2D show for CBBC. If you haven't seen it, please do. I know people are like, oh, it's a kid show. It's so funny. So funny. It's so great. I really enjoyed recruiting for that. The team on there are phenomenal. I love them.
Yeah, my other favourite one is one that I can't say but should come out fairly soonish.
I know which one you're
next.
Yeah, so
3D project. You'll all know what it is when it comes out. You'll be like, it's that one.
You'll be like, that one. Grace, do you have a favourite show that you've contributed to at all? I'm curious.
Oh my goodness, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because they're all so beautiful.
So good.
If you're wondering who this disembodied voice is, hi, I'm Grace. I'm marketing manager for Blue Zoo. But you know what? I go for the classics. I love Paddington so much. It's so beautiful and very, very touching to watch. But yeah, please do follow us on social media, because we, as Lauren said, we publish a lot of advice for not only internships, but also potential job opportunities, and we share stories from people at the studio. So yeah, it's well worth a follow.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm seeing quite a lot of questions about if you've got 2D animation experience. It's definitely not a detriment. All we would ask is that you can show us some examples of 3D work, be that animation, modeling, rigging, whatever it is. It's absolutely fine if your background has been in 2D animation, that's what you've been studying, but we will just need to see evidence that you can work in the 3D pipeline and that you enjoy it as well. Because we'd hate for you to come to us and then you're like, no, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. I've got two questions. I've got one from chat and one from Q&A. The one from chat, I've worked in HR before. Can I apply for production? Yes.
Yes.
Managing
career change. Definitely.
Relationships, wonderful. And then the other question was, is it okay to apply for both an internship and a junior animation position at the same time? Yes.
Yes.
I know quite a few of you might be at the point where you're like, I don't know Am I ready for
Mhm.
junior? Is it just internships that's suitable for me? As I said before, there's no harm in applying. There has been a couple of instances in the past couple of years where we've found an internship application and gone, actually,
They'd
they'd
be
be
good,
better
yeah.
as a junior. And we've reached out to them separately. So yeah, no harm.
Yeah, again, another great reason to just apply, even though there will be so many applicants. Just apply because it, like Lauren said before, it gets you on our radar.
Mhm. And we do have loads of animator positions just generally open on our careers website as well. So have a look through as you're, perusing the internships bit. Have a look at what else we've got and see, oh, I think I might be ready to apply for this as well. Yeah, cool. Would you encourage applicants who maybe don't get this year to apply again? Yeah, if you don't have any industry experience and you applied last year and you haven't had any experience in the meantime, and you want to apply again, please do.
Yeah, you might be in your second year of uni and applied before, and now you're in your third year and you're like, yep, I'm ready now, I'm going to do it again. That's fine. Do feel free.
Yeah, exactly. And
Definitely.
we have a saying in the talent team, which is just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's a no forever. So if you've applied for a couple of roles before and you weren't successful, don't let that put you off. Keep developing your work, keep working at it, because there will be a yes. There's always going to be a yes at some point. Just keep developing and keep working on your own stuff. That's the best thing you can do in between applications, because there's so many factors that we're looking at on our side. Like there's different styles of shows that we work on. There's regional requirements you might spot on our careers website. There's only some roles we can apply for, we can hire for in the UK outside of London, so that's another factor. So just keep applying. No harm.
No harm. Sometimes all it is the show. You just weren't right for that show, but you will be for the next one.
Exactly. My goodness, we have 300 questions and 7 minutes. So let's see if we can find some quick ones to go through. I'm trying to find ones we haven't answered yet. Can we apply for both internship and entry-level roles? Yes, you can. Bam, done. Do you ever have jobs for storyboard artists? It's not to do with the internships, but sometimes we do. We have a job alerts function on our careers website. So if you sign up for that, whenever your ideal role becomes live, we can send you an email to let you know. We usually source for all parts of the animation pipeline. Just depends what we've got available at the moment.
Yeah. Someone's asked if they're living in Edinburgh but can come into London once a week. Are you less likely to be chosen? No. That commitment to come into the studio is your responsibility. So if we see that you're in the UK and you're happy to come in, great.
Out of curiosity, could somebody apply for a junior position for production, even if you don't have an experience? So our junior production staff are production assistants. And yes, I believe, Katie, you look after production. So
I'm so sorry. What was the question, Lauren?
So can somebody apply to be a production assistant if they've got no experience?
If they've got no what, sorry? I've just seen something that I need to change. Yes, definitely. Production assistants are our entry-level role, and we do often hire people straight out of uni. So all we really look for at that kind of level when you're applying for production assistant is that you have some knowledge of animation and the animation pipeline, or you've maybe come from a different industry where you have knowledge of working in production, maybe just something that means that you'll have a little bit of knowledge about coming to work in production, but we definitely don't need experience.
A lot of questions about cover letters. It's always the big question, isn't it, when you're applying for jobs? Like, how do I do a cover letter?
Yes.
Kind of answered that question already.
Sorry, Lauren, I'm just editing something.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to find a question I haven't answered yet. So sorry. Lift music can play in your heads while I just try and find it. Oh, what's the office culture like? We can all answer this one. Really lovely. So me and Katie work primarily out of the office. We're both remote. I'm near Reading and Katie's near Leeds. So a bit of a commute for us. But whenever we do go in, it's such a lovely atmosphere. There's so many amazing people. It's so easy to just chat with anybody. We used to have beer o'clock on Fridays, which is at 5 p.m. everyone stops working and has a beer and a chat. And even like the executive team, the founders like Tom, Ollie and Adam are just so approachable. You can just go over and they're like, oh, hi, how was your day? There's no feeling of I can't talk to them because they're the director and they're special. Like everyone's so friendly and chatty, and yeah, it's a really, really nice culture.
Yeah, I believe people do still stop at 5 p.m. and have a beer. It's just not quite as big because there aren't as many people in. But yeah, the culture is really nice. It's something that we work really hard on here. You would be very likely to meet me at some point because I come in every week and I make a point of introducing myself to the interns and trying to be friendly and like getting you at some social events. So yeah, look forward to meeting you.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be so nice to have some more interns in the studio. And we should have the next summer social over that time as well, which is really exciting.
It's the 14th of July.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
So we will.
So I saw a question about what if I'm going to Annecy? I believe Annecy shouldn't interfere with the internships.
Nope.
No, because Annecy is June.
No, because I'll be there.
So if you're going to Annecy, you can still apply. But just make sure that you're able to do the whole time, not on holiday. There's quite a few questions about feedback. So as I said before, we receive so many applications. We won't unfortunately be able to provide feedback for every single person that applies. If you get to interview stage, we'll be able to provide feedback. And it'll be nice and detailed because you would have met with someone, they've gone through your portfolio, we can get some nice detailed feedback. But unfortunately, we won't be able to provide feedback because there's just so many people. But do come find us at FMX or Annecy or any other recruitment event that we're going to, and we're more than happy to go through your showreel or portfolio and give you some feedback there. We usually have artists with us as well, which is really cool, and they can give some detailed feedback. But on the applications, we won't be able to provide that, I'm afraid. Let's end it on a happy question because that felt like a downer. Have you got anything, Katie?
Oh, no.
Well, if there are, I mean, there's so many questions we haven't answered. Grace and the fabulous Kaylee from the marketing team are going to be putting up FAQs after this. So hopefully you can find your answer there. If your answer isn't there, you can also get in touch with us via the recruitment inbox as we showed before, and we'll do our best to get back to you with any of your burning questions. Yes. Oh, loads of people are going to Annecy. I can just see people going.
Oh, great. Yeah, we'll see you there. We'll be there all week.
We'll be there all week. We'll be at FMX as well, which we're very excited about. I think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And big thank you to Grace for organising this and making sure everything runs smoothly. So say thank you to Grace in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you for coming, and I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead. And good luck with your applications. Yay.
Yeah, good luck. All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.